Hey guys, another week, another game dev vlog, and this week didn't quite go according to plan, but I did manage to get a decent amount of work done. I started off by working a bit on the main menu of the game, to switch things up a bit. I think I mentioned that in the last vlog, that I was thinking about trying that, and I definitely came up with an interesting idea for how it looks, and it turned out pretty good. Now, it's not fully complete or anything, it's just kind of the background. I've got a logo for the game, based on an older concept from the concept art. And I've got some basic buttons there with the text. I had to tweak my text renderer a bit to allow me to align text differently, and that all works correctly right now. I can change the alignment of text within the text boxes to be left, center, or right aligned, and also change the pivot point of the text box itself where it's aligned based on. So I can set the text position to like in the middle of the screen and set the alignment variables to centered, and it will be centered based on the actual center of the text. It works quite well, and it took a little bit to figure out, but not too long. I think it took less than an hour to get it all working. Anyway, other than the menu, I also worked on a bit of the music for the game while refining an older test that I had done a while ago. I've kind of done multiple passes of remastering the theme, but finally getting to the point where it actually sounds pretty good. The snare drum in the mix was a bit sharp, so I cleaned that up, made the whole thing blend together a lot nicer, sounding a lot better. Of course, it's not a full theme just yet, and I have broken down that the game will have 5 songs, and that the soundtrack will actually be available for purchase. So if you guys are interested and want to help support me, when the game comes out, you will be able to buy the soundtrack. It's only going to cost a couple dollars or something. So anyway, but I also worked on some sounds for the game, particularly for a certain character, the antagonist of the game. I worked on their sound set a little bit. You'll understand more when I show you some of that, but not this week. I'll show you some of that later on. I also, well, the biggest thing that I did this week was I worked on the level editor, and I went from start to finish. Well, not quite finished, but it's functional right now for what I need. It has all the blocks that I have in the game. Oh, I did add ramps today, which are basically just aesthetically different from stairs, but act exactly the same. Currently I've got all those blocks where I can place them in the level editor. I might show some footage on the screen right now, so you'll see what I'm talking about, but there's blocks down there. I've got a grid to show where the blocks are. I can move around the screen. Maximum world size is twice what's visible on the screen at any given time. And I can also save the level codes as well, actual code, for me to copy paste into class files for the game. Obviously that's not what it's going to be when it's done. And obviously another thing is that it's missing a lot of buttons, so there will actually be buttons for playing the level, going back, clearing the level, saving the level, toggling the grid. I've done some concept art for the interface, but for now it does what I need it to, so I'm going to pause on that and just use it as it is right now. But it all works nicely. I can move the start and finish blocks. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that, yes, I did add start and finishes, although currently they're basically just aesthetic, especially the finish. In the level editor, you cannot erase or draw over the start and finish, but you can move them and obviously draw where they were. So anyway, that's basically it for the level editor. Yeah, you can rotate around the screen as well to get a better vantage point of like the puzzles you're making in the level editor. But for now, it all works as needed. Oh, also, when you click on the blocks down below, you can configure them. It's very similar to the game Blockworks that we are working on, but paused right now. So anyway, enough of the level editor. I also tweaked death in the game. So when you run into the spikes, I tweaked all that, so now there's a little camera shake, a flash of red, and actual blood particles, which is always fun to do. Just a little particle system that does a splatter, and then the particles fall with gravity, and also stop whenever they hit a block. So you get this, blood system. So anyway, I also coded it so that I'll be able to reuse this particle system for a few other things in the game that I will be talking about later on, but for now, it's just using the death animation, and it all looks pretty good. Now obviously this brings up one fact. I did not get to doing much animation this week. I meant to, especially yesterday, but I ended up spending the entire day researching some stuff for my computer build. Once I get to do that, So I didn't end up doing much animation this week. So the character's still a blue rectangle. But I'm going to be working on that over the next couple days, try to get some animation done. I'm actually going to try to work on some later today. But yeah, I just wasn't able to get any done throughout the week. Although I should have. But oh well, that doesn't really matter. I've still got time. Now, of course, since it is Sunday, the 29th of October, that means that I have 3 weeks to get the game done to keep on schedule with my plan. Obviously, that's not a whole lot of time, as I've spent 3 weeks already working on the game. But it seems like it should be doable, because I've gotten a lot of the slow stuff done. One of the last slow things left to do is to, well, add the animation for the character. And yes, there's another character in the game, but it's barely got any animation, not any complex systems. They're an NPC that's for the storytelling, so they don't need a whole lot of logic behind them, so it's going to be very easy to get them in. But as far as the player character, that animation is going to take probably the longest of most of the individual things that I have left on the game. Obviously, building puzzles can take some time. That's probably going to take almost a full week around working on some other small stuff, like polishing up some areas of the game or working on some interfaces like a pause menu and stuff like that. So things are going to have to get going faster. It is seeming more achievable as I go on, because the game is starting to feel more like a proper game. With this level editor and the death animation and everything, it's starting to come together, and it's feeling more achievable. So I'm just going to keep going, try to get some more work done later today and throughout this week, and I'll obviously be back to report on it in the next video. But anyway, that is going to have to be it for today. If you enjoyed the video, maybe learned something, be sure to leave a like, maybe a comment, and definitely subscribe for more content from me in the near future. So yeah, I'll see you around. Goodbye.